before we begin the exercises, you obviously want to make sure that you're cleared by your physician, as well as adhering to your protocol, your post-surgical protocol that you're using. But we're going to say that those things are cleared and you're ready to progress. So we're going to start with dumbbell internal and external rotation. Just have my elbows at the side here. And I would complete somewhere between 2 to 3 sets, 15 to 20 repetitions, just a light weight to kind of warm things up. Then I'm going to bring my elbows out to the side, maybe about 45 degrees. Doesn't have to be perfect, but something in this range. Now I'm going to complete 10 repetitions to 12 repetitions. So a little less on the repetitions because the resistance is a little more difficult. And then I'm going to go all the way out to 90, and then I'm going to go back this way and then into external rotation, and I'm only completing 2 to 3 sets of 8 to 10 repetitions. So your initial 15 to 20, then I do 10 to 12, and then I'm out here 8 to 10. And if you can't go through that cycle, I like to repeat those just one after the other. If you can't go through that cycle and complete that many repetitions, initially just start with maybe 3 to 5 repetitions of each one at each position. Now, after you go through that series of 3, I consider that one set. We're going to repeat that for 2 to 3 sets. And this program is going to be completed 3 times a week. Now we're going to perform shoulder flexion, shoulder scaption, and shoulder abduction. Now with this, just like the previous set of exercises, I like to go through this in the sequence of 3, okay? Because we're going to assume that by the point that you started this program, you've already been completing those 2 or 3 sets of 10 or 12 repetitions of your exercises, just kind of one at the time, followed by a rest period. So with this, we're really trying to push the muscle endurance as well as the strength and overall capacity of the athlete. So what we're going to do, palms facing each other, we're going to go up into shoulder flexion, just like this, staying below that 90 mark. I mean, if you get right at 90 or 100, that's okay. I just try to stay below that so as not to irritate the shoulder joint. So I'm going to complete 10 to 12 repetitions there, and then I'm going to go straight into scaption. So that kind of not straight in the front, but not straight out to the side. Same thing, 10 to 12 repetitions there. And then palms facing down towards the floor, 10 to 12 repetitions there, shoulder abduction. And again, that would be considered one set. And then I'm going to repeat that for a couple of sets. Again, if you can't perform the 10 to 12 repetitions, back off, maybe 3 to 5, start slow and low, and then progress from there. And that's something also, you want to make sure that you have a dumbbell or dumbbells that you can control. We don't want to create, poor movement patterns on top of the movement patterns that you already have that are impaired from your injury and your surgical recovery. So we want to make sure that these are weights that you can handle and we don't learn, poor movement patterns. Now we're going to add in ship wheels. So what I like to do is take one of these bands, pull it apart, and then I'm going to go just like this and just kind of rotate around like I'm turning the wheel of a ship, right? Just back and forth, trying to keep everything controlled, symmetrical, keeping that tension on the band, the whole way through. And I would complete maybe 2 or 3 sets of 10 reps. And so I consider, back and forth, one full movement there is one repetition. And I would just go through that. Again, with the band, get a band that you can control. If you can't pull it apart a little bit or it really throws off your movement quality, get a smaller band and then go through that. But again, that's ship wheels. Now we're going to perform internal rotation using a band. Again, this is going to be modified from what you've been doing in your previous therapy. So my elbow is by my side here. I'm going to bring my hand in nice and controlled, right? And I'm going to go for 10 to 12 repetitions. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn to the side. I'm going to have my elbow out at, kind of an angle here. So maybe I'm at about 45 degrees, give or take. And I'm going to come in like that. So I'm kind of pulling my hand down at 10 to 12 repetitions. And then I'm going to come out, try to get this out about 90 degrees, 80 to 90. And then I'm going to go forward just like that. Okay? Be careful if you've had a labral tear or there's some bicep reattachment that's occurred, subscapularis involvement. You want to be a little cautious with that. But I'm just going to go down again, 10 to 12 repetitions. And I would complete somewhere between 2 to 3 sets of that exercise. Now we're going to perform external rotation. So similar to the internal rotation, my elbow is by my side. I'm going to bring it out. I'm going for 10 to 12 repetitions. And then I'm going to go right into my hand kind of being in that modified out to the side position, external. And then I'm going to work all the way, bringing my elbow out to 90, and I'm working on that. And I repeat all 3 of these exercises in sequence together without taking a break, right? Because we're trying to build that endurance and we're trying to build that capacity in order to go back to sport play. So the next exercise we're going to do is scapular retraction. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull back on the band, keeping my elbow, right here by my side, and then I'm going to complete 10 to 12 repetitions, then bring my elbow out a little bit, right? Not all the way at shoulder level, but just out a little bit, 10 to 12 repetitions, and then I'm going to go all the way up high and pull back 10 to 12 repetitions. And so when I'm doing that again, I'm not going to take a break between each one of those movements. I'm going to try to complete all 3 of those before I take a break. And then I will repeat that for 2 to 3 times. Now we're going to look at scapular protraction. So I have the band attached back here. I'm going to push straight forwards, right? Or a chest press, however you want to call it, because you are having protraction of the scapula as well as pressing. Now, with this, I should mention hand position. Does it matter if the palm is facing down, if it's neutral, if it's up? That's just your preference. Whatever feels the best, whatever you like. So you're going to push forwards with this. Now, the next thing we're going to do is scapular protraction or a chest press. So I'm going to start with my elbow by my side, right? And I'm pushing forwards, almost like I'm punching forwards. Palm, it doesn't matter if it's in neutral, pronation, supination, whatever feels best to you. I'm going to complete 10 to 12 repetitions here. I'm going to bring my elbow out about halfway, 10 to 12 repetitions here, right? And then I'm going to go all the way up here at shoulder level, 10 to 12 repetitions here, really contracting and feeling that movement. Try not to make that a torso turner. Try to really just focus on it being the upper extremity when you're doing that movement. And again, you're going to go through all 3 of those movements before you take a break and then complete 2 to 3 sets.